Hello everybody and welcome. My name is John and today I'm going to be chopping up this mutated Philodendron Ring of Fire. And I'll give you a closer look, but you can see this super long stem here. For whatever reason, this thing just has not been growing any new leaves all year. It just keeps, you can see this is happening right now. So the leaf sheath is unfurling and underneath there is a new leaf in another sheath. So this has been happening all year. So it's all of these like failed leaves are just sitting here on the stem. Nothing has ever come out, and yeah, so the only way to stop this now is to chop this top off, get rid of it, and then I'm gonna do one big chunky stem cutting, and then we'll get that rooted here as quickly as we can. So if any of you have been following me for a while, you know that my absolute favorite way to propagate is with a jar of perlite, a small layer of water at the bottom, throw it in a humidity bin, some kind of grow chamber, and that works super, super well. But I have been recently transitioning many of my plants to a passive hydro setup for several reasons, but mostly just water quality issues where I'm living. It's much easier for me to just use drinking water in a passive hydro setup and give all my plants what they need. So for plants that are destined to be in a hydroponic setup, actually water propagation is pretty good. And so what I've been doing, and this is test number 1 right here. I put all of these cuttings in a jar of LECA, and then I filled it to the very top with water. And now I'm just slowly letting that water disappear. And because it's in my humidity bin, it's taking a long time for the water to disappear. But you can see there's already some real nice roots. I can't quite show you the bottom probably, but there's a lot of roots down there. So my theory is that by the time this water drains down to that like inch mark or so, what you would do in a normal LECA setup, I'm guessing that by that time, this plant will understand the deal and it will just be ready to go. I also recently got a cutting of anthurium that was totally rooted in water. I threw that into a jar of LECA and it took off immediately. So I think the transition from water propagation into hydroponics is actually real easy for plants. And I'm gonna show you this. I had previously been afraid to do water propagation in a humidity bin because I just figured that'd be just way too much moisture. But yeah, you can see this thing is looking good and it's in like 95+% humidity all the time in this little jar here, and it started growing those roots almost immediately. So I'm pretty psyched on that. Let me show you this other one. Okay, so this was a gift from my friend Honey. She is a super cool person, total badass. I will link her Instagram down below. But she gave this to me in a jar of water. I threw it into this jar of LECA, and you can see that it's absolutely going insane. So, wow, I've got a proper little jungle up here now, don't we? Well, this is nice. Yeah, so I'm kind of tempted to just throw this in a jar of water, but I'm just gonna throw it in a jar of LECA so that it'll already be in there, and we'll see what that transition looks like, hopefully in a couple of weeks. So let's make some room. All right, so to all the new plant parents out there, this is probably gonna look a little brutal. To all my fellow veterans out there, y'all know at this point, we don't even care. So, see ya. Okay, so I have this growth tip. There's a teeny bit of stem with nodes here, so I'm actually just gonna chop that. So that will be a stem cutting, bonus cutting. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll throw that in a small little jar. So then I'm gonna go all the way back to here. Ta-da! Look at that. Oh, it kind of smells good, actually. Interesting. Oh, it smells like ginger. Reminds me of like fresh juice I've made in a juicer, like orange carrot ginger. Dang, this smells exactly like orange carrot ginger juice. That's pretty wild. So we'll see how many growth points become active on this guy. It has the root system to support a much larger plant. It should be like double or triple this size because of all these failed leaves here. So that'll probably bounce back right away. It looks so much nicer already. Like, look at this. I've been staring at this huge freaking lobster claw for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. Yeah, this is way better. Good job, buddy. Okay, I have seen people take like big chunks like this and lay them down, and then like you can get multiple growth tips, but I'm gonna throw this whole thing in here. We'll just keep the very tip above the, actually I'll put the whole, I'll bury the whole thing, and I'll just put the water line below the top. Now remember, it's not hoarding if it's plants or glass jars. Oh, I feel like I really want a picture of this. Dang, I need $8,000 for a backup cam. Whew, okay, so the big old chunk is in here. It's completely hidden from view, but you can see I've got the water line up like towards the top. This little guy is very floaty. I'm not sure if that's normal. It doesn't matter. It's just in pure water. I added a little bit of nutrient solution to this because in the bin, I think this supply will last like 3 weeks or more, especially if there's no roots drinking it yet. So we'll see. And bonus experiment. So since this is already pretty well rooted in pure water, I want to know what happens. Let's just add LECA to it. Oh my gosh. Okay, wow. So LECA floats really well. All right, this is not gonna work. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I thought this was gonna be a Ring of Fire video, and it's kind of now a jar of LECA propagation video. But we're gonna see what happens. The big Ring of Fire, this probably has like 6 nodes, I would guess. I should have counted. We'll see if this little chunk in here with a bit of root and stem will root in pure water, and then this one is already rooted in water. Now it's growing in LECA with about 1 inch or 2 of water at the bottom. So we'll see how it handles that transition. This will continue rooting as that water goes down. This thing's doing great. It's gonna continue doing great. All right, so I will be back in 2-3 weeks or so as soon as I've got something interesting to show you. And teleport. All right, welcome back everybody. It has been 6 weeks since I started this. I thought this would all go a lot more quickly, but the Ring of Fire is very, very slow grower. So I learned some things, want to show you some progress here. Okay, so the big old Ring of Fire stem cutting has started growing. There's 1 new leaf that has already opened. Then if I poke around and dig underneath here, there's another growth tip which is on the way. And there's absolutely no sign of roots anywhere. So I'm assuming there are some roots in there that just haven't made it to the exterior of this jar yet. But I have seen plants in my experience that will actually push out leaves before roots sometimes for whatever reason. So we also have this aglaonema, which was a water-rooted cutting, went into this jar of LECA, and I've just been treating it like a normal plant in a LECA setup. And it has grown a ton of roots. It's taken off. So very similarly to this anthurium, which I was transferred from pure water to a jar of LECA, that transition seems to be really, really good. So I think in the future, that will be one of my go-to methods for plants. Definitely if I'm planning to grow it in a hydroponic setup, I'm gonna put that cutting just in water. And once I see those roots, I'm gonna put it into a jar of LECA. So just to review real quick, this method I was testing of basically doing a water propagation with a full jar of LECA, I personally would rather just do pure water next time, because as you can see, there's no way for me to see the roots, and I want to know how much progress has been made before transferring it into LECA. And I know I could safely get this thing out of here right now and check on it, but I'm just going to leave it alone. While the times I have tried this have both worked well, I think I would prefer to just see those roots in water, throw them into a jar of LECA, and then watch it take off. Because so far, the 2 plants I've tried that with have done extremely well. Now this mama plant over here is very, very slowly pushing out some growth tips. There's There's several growth tips on it that have become active. One has like actually started moving, but it's still working on that first leaf. So hopefully that'll open up here before too long. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, wow. I learned so much unexpected information in this experiment. I thought I was just going to show you this cool mutated Ring of Fire propagation and ended up doing all these experiments. So yeah, I would confidently tell you that from now on, I will be rooting things in water and then transferring them to jars of LECA, unless I'm planning to grow them in a kind of like standard potting mix. And in that case, I'll either just go straight into the potting mix or do the jar of perlite first, because the transition from perlite to soil is really, really good. And similarly, now I seem to have learned that the transition from water to LECA is excellent, very fast and easy, and those water roots seem to just love this LECA environment. At least and keep in mind, this is all in my humidity bins. LED lighting all day, nice and warm and humid, perfect for any tropical plant. All right, so that is going to do it. If you want to see some further updates on this, please come follow me on Instagram at Enlightened Gardener. And if you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll consider subscribing, hitting that like button, and leaving a comment before you go. And as always, I wish you all the best with your plants and with your life, and I hope to see you back here real soon. Peace.